Hello everyone, my name is Monique Hill and I'm an intuitive soul savant. I believe everyone needs support and guidance when awakening spiritually. I guide spiritual seekers to align and integrate mystical practices along with movement, mindfulness and meditation. My mission here is to serve humanity by teaching, guiding, facilitating and holding space for those awakening to their soul's true self. My vision is to see everyone I consult expand their consciousness and find greater freedom, releasing their resistance to living a life they love living. So from an early age, as early as I can remember, I was a spiritual seeker. I was totally absorbed and fascinated when I read the Bible at age 7. I became a great reader, devouring so many books and learning as much as I could regarding the mystical sciences and religions and the occult. The ancients and their history thrilled me and evoked my imagination. And when asked as a child what I wanted to be when I grew up, I answered an actress or an archaeologist. And in my mind, I've achieved both of those dreams today. I started dancing before I can remember. I was 6 when I auditioned for my first professional show called Lilac Time at the Civic Theatre in Canberra. And then I went on to become a singer and an entertainer. In my early 20s, I studied 3 years Stanislavski method acting under the late Hayes Gordon at the Ensemble Studios in North Sydney. And then in my 30s, I was performing for years in a music duo up and down the mid-north coast of New South Wales. But as talented as I was, I carried a wounding of the soul and the heart exasperated by family alcoholism and abuse that just leveled my self-esteem. I'd married my father's self-hate, shame and self-loathing, along with emotional abandonment. My mother was an emotionally distant woman who raised my 2 younger sisters and I with an actual spoken regret of having us. My dad's father, my grandfather, he was dark-skinned and he was Aboriginal. And as obvious as this was, my family were in complete denial till the last decade or so. It was just social shame. But I felt my ancestors' heritage and stories, and I carried their pain in every cell. I became an alcoholic addict myself, suppressing the pain for fear of its explosive energy. In my 20s, I danced with a well-known Aboriginal storyteller, Francis Firebrace Jones, on the northern beaches in Sydney. We've actually since reconnected after 30 years, which is really inspiring. He's in the UK, and I do hope to meet up again with him one day and maybe do a little workshop. I knew and I felt my ancestors within, but I was told I was wrong. Nevertheless, I claimed my heritage before factual proof, and I'm proud to be mixed caste with English, Irish, Scottish and Welsh, and that's recorded in my DNA. I was the first born of a generation of 14 grandkids on my dad's side, but it was me who had become the stories of my ancestors, and healing was definitely needed. I took the mantle as the firstborn. I've chosen to consciously evolve beyond the patterns and addictions of the wounded ancestral lineage, with many other evolving souls currently clearing and healing as part of their life's spiritual work and ascension. As karma had it, in my teens, I was sent away to boarding school to Sydney from our then home in Port Macquarie. It seems my parents didn't want the responsibility of me. In their mind, teenage behaviours and shenanigans were not tolerated. I was their first, they'd married young and were busy making money. They were also very ignorant to the fact that education and talent, unfortunately, will only carry a soul so far when extreme low self-worth issues are alive in the subconscious. My inner shame and self-hate could be hidden for only so many decades by dysfunctional survival traits that I'd adopted to prove my value to others. Wall after wall I hit, striving for success to show the world that I was okay, when I'd been programmed to believe I was not okay. A rebirth was needed for me to firstly see these wrong self-beliefs I'd adopted, and finally to find within a knowledge and a feeling of self-worth. It said the higher the building, the deeper the foundations. Well, I've been digging these foundations for decades. I was so frustrated and impatient throughout my life that to me, success kept eluding me. Even when I tried so hard, I would create something which was received so well, and then something would happen and it would be taken, either from some strange karmic occurrence from another, from society, or from my own self-sabotage. I got knocked off my bike and thrown under the bus so many times, nothing stuck. In 96, I ran off to India for 6 months, then on to Japan for 7 months after a great disappointment and broken heart from a first love. People said I'd left to go find myself, but back then I didn't know what that meant. I thought I was myself. I now know that wasn't true. I was a cut-out copy of a human acting from dysfunctional beliefs about myself and life. In 2008, 3 times I went back to India, and again in 2016. India is my love, my joy. The connection I have with this country is metaphysical. I carry India in my soul's DNA, and I'll return to India again many times, I hope. India cradles and comforts me like a mother. As a spiritual seeker needing to know the true self, there is many tools to discover along the way. There's many modalities to remember, churches to attend, groups to join, and gurus to follow. I've been helped and guided by many kind-hearted souls, as well as the tough love from rejection. To start with, there's the original religion of the Catholic Church that I was born into, and that my mother's mother found her solace in after family sexual abuse, which touched me also as a child. In my 30s, I enrolled in Bible college on the Gold Coast under an amazing pastor who moved and sang in the spirit. This Pentecostal church to spirituality showed me the power of spiritual energy that could not be denied. It was an out there Christianity, and it introduced me to the consciousness of the Christ. As with all religions, they are a business. I got to see that decisions made in churches are usually financially based and not always from spiritual passion. I left hurt and rejected by the church, and left moving on to be totally inspired again by life coaching and public speaking. And I studied a Cert 4 coaching and became the president of Rubina Toastmasters Club on the Gold Coast, and I love that. A reverend from the Uniting Church on the Gold Coast, Reverend John Tully, a OAM, he inspired me to reparent myself, but I wasn't ready back then, and when I was in my 30s. He allowed me to volunteer in his counselling office, as well as inspiring me to teach primary students religion and spiritual studies at Madhubar State School. He was such an amazing man who served the homeless needing healing on the streets in Balmain, Sydney in the 50s. All along the way, and an abomination in Christianity, I continued to study astrology. I started studying at an early age of 17. It was my first form of therapy and trying to understand what was wrong with me. All the drama I'd already experienced had me thinking something was wrong with me. Astrology had been my passion since, and has taught me over these last 4 decades to connect with life and mature my intuitive skills. I'm so grateful. When I started studying astrology and numerology, I could swear I'd studied it before. Many times it saved my life and inspired me to keep going and not give up. I've felt like taking my life so many times, chronic suicidal ideation. At 23 years of age, I was told to go to AA by my functioning alcoholic parents. I'd become the family scapegoat by then, and thought everyone knew better than me about me. So I started a journey that still continues to this day. However, these days it's not AA I serve. Today I am a global coordinator for ACOA, Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families. It's another 12-step fellowship that deals with the cause of addictions. So I help adults through the 12 steps of recovery to heal childhood trauma and to awaken to their true selves. This service work is and always will be a volunteer position. I give back what was given to me, as well as continue to remain humble, as I'm still only 1 drink away from a drunk. My experience has now become someone else's medicine. The 12 steps have been a rock. Even though I've left and come back so many times, this happened when I was hurt. I couldn't cope, and I needed to repeat old behaviour triggered by underlying pain. I've been sober for years now. My last major rock bottom was my darkest night of the soul. After leaving India in early 2009, my son was taken and I didn't have enough self-power to fight his seducers. They really scared me. I'd lost my son. The GFC of 2008, 2009 caught me unawares. I was focused on India and my son's homeschool and starting another business. And when we returned to my Gold Coast corporate cleaning company that I'd built from the ground up as a single mum for 6 years previously, it had taken the hit. I tried so hard to save it. However, in 2010, I regrettably had to declare bankruptcy. My independence till then left me with no support. I was all alone. My body was breaking down with cell changes in my bowel and cervix, and the writing was on the wall. Cancer was coming and I was dying. I needed to change and transform my workaholic striving and reactionary life I'd lived in flight fight mode, or else. I was 44. The failure I felt and the loss of my son caused me to fall into a spiral of craziness and breakdown. In just a matter of a few years, I was homeless. For 2 years, I couldn't care for myself properly, nor did I even want to. I decided to finish for good an on-off dysfunctional relationship with a man that showed me the truth. He mirrored myself, a karmic relationship with a twin flame type that I'd first met at 11 years of age, and he had had a part in me being abandoned to boarding school at 13. The truth hidden till then was loud and clear. I did not love myself. Broken and unsupported, this was the true dark night. I trusted nothing anymore. I trusted no one. And this time marked the beginning of 6 years isolation till now in 2021. This month marks 6 years since I moved into a small unit alone, in fear and hopelessness, in a town where I knew no one. Self-isolation allowed me to grieve, to find within my worth, my values, and my inner power, to truly know myself. My soul unveiled as if in a cave in the Himalayas. The universe, God, higher self, superconscious, Allah, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, held me when no human could. I thought the aloneness would kill me. The pain I felt as I cried daily, it debilitated me. I physically died to the old self, a true dark night of the soul. I'd been meditating since 2005, where I was guided under a Buddhist nun, Venerable Dolma, on the Gold Coast, and I've been a meditator since. So I meditated for 6 years. From that, here I am today. I'm free, hopeful, and inspired to serve and share my experience, strength, and hope to those on the journey through a life that is suffering. Seeking a spiritual path in life has gifted me with awareness, also a reliance and connection to a power greater than ourselves that some choose to call God. I have come to know this power, this energy as my true self, the most powerful aspect of myself. And this power urges me to share and uplift others who also want and desire to live in total alignment with all that is, and to return to a way of life connected to Earth's natural resources and nature's beauty. In a society whose structures are collapsing for a better, more loving world, self-care and alignment with the higher frequencies is now available to us all. Our water is life. Solar rays from the sun is life. The food we eat is our life. Keeping our heart open and living free of fear is our health. So connecting to the power of the natural world will see us through when the tech industry is nudging the people towards a virtual reality and to live in the brain. Many are ready to connect to the natural world 24/7 and to practice new habits and an abundance and power the original people, the indigenous people, vaguely recall. So who here is ready to become a friend of the water, to become aware and have a conscious connection with the water, to speak to the body, 70% water, to experience a relationship with the water that will amaze the beholder? It only takes daily practice with my support for 49 days. The Friends of the Water program is your key to living consciously, to really be woke in the original sense of that word. Woke is not knowing the darkness in our world. This will pass. Woke is knowing the power each of us holds within and have access to as human beings. As well as anchoring our consciousness to the water, Friends of the Water program introduces you to the habits of intuitive eating, becoming one with our source of life, the sun, compassionate action, the new way to be compassionate, earthing the body, gratitude, and ho'oponopono, forgiveness, and honouring our natural architecture, and also aligning with our moon and meditation. This program is next level and it's easy. These habits can be formed with my support and others' support until they become once again second nature to the being. We aim for progress and never perfection. These practices integrated will raise the frequency of your vibration. You'll become a superhuman, living a life of abundance and connect to your creator like you've never done before. I'm inviting those here this evening an amazing offer of only $1 a day for 49 days to complete this pilot program, which requires you to daily watch a short reference video and or read an article with the knowledge and science that we have so far about water, intuitive eating, and the other topics and habits that I mentioned. We'll stay connected in a small private Facebook group, and you'll have the resources to stay plugged in and maintain deliberate thoughts and stay grounded in the body and not get lost in the chaos of life in our world these days. There'll be a 90-minute live Zoom meeting each Sunday late afternoon for Q&A, personal shares, and a 20 minutes guided meditation ready for our next week inclusions. For this amazing investment of $49 for 7 weeks support, I just ask that participants fill out my weekly survey forms so that I can confirm the invaluable gift this program is to others. This program will change your life and your consciousness will be changed forever. Who'd love to journey with me? This price for the pilot program of Friends of the Water will never be this price again. This is my life's work, and I will continue to bring this consciousness, this level of consciousness, to whoever wants it. This is my passion, and I vow to honour you. I'm here to serve.